Assalamu alaikum students. How are you all? Hope you all are very fine and healthy at your home. Today we are going to start our session 2, third lesson in your science, that is animal fiber. Before going into the lesson, let us see what we have studied in last session. We studied about fibers, some small thread like structures are called as fibers. Fibers are of two types. They are natural fibers and synthetic fibers. Among natural fibers, we are having two types. There is plant fibers and animal fibers, and you are going to learn about animal fiber in this session. So here we are seeing the silk moth and its eggs, its larva, its pupa, and a small moth coming out of an egg. So there is a life cycle of a silk worm, silk moth. Now we see some of the points about this. Do you know, children, the eggs of silk moth are called as seeds. This already I said you. What are seeds referred in sericulture means seeds are referred to as eggs of silk moth, and we also call this silk moth as chilakalu, and we can also call it as Bombix mori. Here, a female moth lays about 500 to that is 300 to 500 eggs in one go, and it dies. If you see, children, what is sericulture? There is a rearing of silkworms and obtaining silk from them is called as sericulture. Here we can see these center. First, we call these centers as granages, and we can see at Horsley Hills in Chittoor district a very big seed growing center. That is a very big grenade we can see at Horsley Hills in Chittoor district. And here we can now we see about cocoon stage of silk moth. Here, large trays with leaves and larvae feeding on them could be seen. Some trays will be having a white and yellowish egg like structure. Here, you can see a caterpillar. So, tiny white colored silkworms are called as caterpillars. So, these worms eat mulberry leaves day and night, and while they are growing, they need very good hygienic conditions and proper light to grow. When they grow bigger in size, they transferred into big sized canny frames called as chandrikalu. So after 30 to 35 days, the caterpillar stops eating and settles at a particular place. It weaves a net to hold itself. Caterpillar moves its mouth from side to side and secretes a fiber like substance. When this fiber like substance is exposed to air and heat, it becomes very strong. Now, the net is woven completely to cover the body of the caterpillar. This seems to be a closed sac. Now, this sac, the two closed sac, is called as cocoon. This is a cocoon stage, and those farmers also called it as pattukayalu. So what is this cocoon stage called as pattukayalu? So after 2 to 3 weeks, young moths come out from the cocoons and fly away, so that they will be careful, and Within 2 to 3 days of formation of a cocoon, they will start removing them from that tray. Then they kill the larvae inside by a process called as a stifling. By putting a lot of these in a steam oven for 10 to 15 minutes, then the cocoons have to be stifled to kill the larva inside, as otherwise it will cut its way out after growing into a moth and spoil the cocoon. They will not be able to get a continuous thread of silk from such a cocoon. So they won't be able to obtain a quality fiber for fabric. The stifling helps them to store the cocoons for a long time. This process is usually done in railing centers. These cocoons are kept in sealed bags and sold at the cocoon market. If not stifled, we sell that is they sell within a week, and they will inquire the rates of these cocoons at the markets of Hindupur, Madanpalli, Dharmavaram, Kadiri, Palamaneru, and Raichur. Now we see about the next process after stifling, that is a reeling stage. What is meant by reeling? Separation of a silk fiber from cocoon is called as reeling. Now we see some information about this reeling. Here, these are boiled cocoons to get a silk fiber. They are boiling the cocoons to get a silk fiber. Caterpillar of a silkworm spins fiber, which is mainly made up of two types of protein. What is those two types of proteins? Sericin and fibroin. So it is made up of sericin and fibroin, and it's very strong. The cocoons have to be boiled to loosen the fiber to be able to reel it. Obtaining silk fiber from cocoon is called as reeling. Now we are seeing it. It is done with special machines called as reelers and twisters. So what are the machines used in reeling? They are reelers and twisters. The silk fiber is carefully collected from the cocoon, and nearly 3 to 8 of such threads are wound together to make a yarn from it, which is reeled. And now this yarn is cleaned, bleached, and colored. The yarn is ready to be woven into a variety of designed fabrics on looms. You can see reeling centers at Nan- Nandikotkur, Hindupur, Dharmavaram, and Madanapalli. So, this is about reeling. After reeling, they weave the silk fabric. Dharmavaram is the silk city of Andhra Pradesh. They weave silk fabric by using silk yarn on handlooms. Weaving is a traditional occupation there. They get silk yarn from reeling centers to weave a variety of saris. A variety of saris like the weave Dharmavaram produced by our state, which is very famous for its wide border and rich butta or dots. So, if you see, we are having many types of silk such as tasser silk. In the first picture, you are seeing it is a tasser fabric. How you get this tasser silk? This silk is also called as Desali Pattu. Desali Pattu. Apart from mulberry, which is produced in our state, some species of silk moths that lay eggs on Terminalia oak plantation produce tasser silk. Mostly people rear these kinds of cocoons, and the silk plantation is mainly concentrated in Anantapuram, East Godavari, Visakhapatnam, and coastal regions of AP. Now we are having another other than Tassar silk, and Muga silk, Eri silk, and Kosa silks. This your four types of silks you are seeing here. Now we see about varieties of pattu sarees produced by silk yarn. So in the first picture you are seeing it is Dharmavaram pattu. And the next one is Pochampalli pattu. And last one is Benares pattu. So these are the various. Other than this, we are also having Kanchipuram pattu, Narayanpet pattu, Kottakota, Pochampalli. These are the types of pattus. Now we see they get their names from the places where they are made. You may have also heard the names of mm, these silks. I already said about Tossar, Muga, Kosa, and Airy silk. Some chemicals add strength to silk fibers. Silk is used to make other products as well, like other cloths like satin fabric, crepe fabric. They have both handlooms and also power looms to weave this silk to weave silk fabric. Now, do you know, children, the thread you get from the average cocoon ranges from about 1000 to 3000 feet, and about 2000 to 3000 cocoons are required to make 500 grams of silk. That is about 5 crores feet or more than 1000 miles. People involved in the process suffer from, that means the people who are doing this stifling, railing, weaving, so those people they are suffering with diseases like some skin problems and respiratory problems. Why? Because due to continuous handling of the silkworm and the silk fibers. So children, let us continue in our third session. And in our third session we are going to learn about how we are getting wool from how we are getting wool fabric from animals and the process involved in it, like you have seen how we are getting silk fabric. So let's continue in our next session. Up to that, Allah Hafiz.